America stands with Ukraine. We stand with Ukraine until victory is won.
Taking a stand, congressional leaders, including a Colorado congressman in Europe, showing U.S. support for Ukraine and our allies.
This is very important. I can say even this is crucial.
Colorado's mental health crisis, the proposal to make sure people who aren't getting the help they need can get it, and a new push to find JonBenet Ramsey's killer.
They're taking their time, they're talking to people, they're analyzing if this technique may or may not be helpful in their case.
Why the governor's now considering new technology to crack the case. Plus, the Avs are hoping for a long run in the playoffs. Colorado Congressman Jason Crow and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi are part of a congressional delegation visiting Ukraine and Poland right now. They met with Poland's president today after meeting with Ukraine's president over the weekend. Thanks so much for joining us for Denver 7 News at 11. I'm Jacqueline Allen. Pelosi is now the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit Ukraine. As Faith Abube reports, Pelosi and other leaders are pledging their support for the war-torn country.
Harrowing tales of Ukrainians living in dire conditions, unable to escape Soviet-era bunkers below ground for fear of being shot and killed by Russians who had relentlessly shelled and surrounded the Azovstal steel plant in Mariupol. This video, shared by the far-right military group Azov Battalion and posted by Ukrainian officials, shows women and children being evacuated from the bunker. Natalia Izmanova says she lived 2 months in darkness and fear. Amid the evacuation of the plant, a congressional delegation led by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi traveled to Kyiv on Sunday to meet Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky and to express continued U.S. support for his country. Pelosi is now the highest-ranking American official to visit Ukraine since the war began.
So our commitment is to be there for you until the fight is done.
Ukrainian ambassador to the U.S., Oksana Makarova, says the Biden administration's latest request for $33 billion in additional aid will go far in helping Ukraine's military and its people.
We need all the assistance we can get in defensive weapons, in military support, in financial support, but also in humanitarian support. And I think this request covers all of these areas.
And more civilians could be allowed to leave that steel plant in Mariupol today. President Zelensky said in a tweet that officials in Ukraine are working with the UN to provide an additional safe corridor. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
First Lady Jill Biden will meet with Ukrainian refugees during a trip to Europe this week. She will be traveling to Romania and Slovakia as part of a 5-day trip. The UN says nearly 5.5 million Ukrainians have fled Ukraine since the Russian invasion. Jill Biden will also meet with members of the U.S. military and government officials. Happening today at the state capitol, Governor Jared Polis and state lawmakers are taking steps to address mental health. The governor will declare May Mental Health Awareness Month in about an hour. There's a bill moving through the state legislature right now that could create a state behavioral health administration. The administration would have to make sure Coloradans can access health care regardless of where they live or their ability to pay. It would also establish things like health grievances, health performance, and behavioral health safety net systems. Governor Jared Polis is also taking steps to cut property taxes in Colorado. He'll be announcing more details at the state capitol this afternoon. We'll keep you posted. And the governor's office says there will be tax cuts for homes and businesses. People can start pre-applying for hundreds of affordable housing units in Denver through the Denver Housing Authority. That's typically open once a year. It's happened now. And there are some qualifications for families or people who are single. There are also categories based on age. For example, when the head of the household is at least 62 years old. Right now, the program has between 250 and 400 units available. Rent is based on income.
Our hope is with other programs that we have here at DHA, which is in our resident services or community connections departments, that are social programs that help elevate people. They take advantage of those programs, become self-sufficient, then can be out on the open market, and then they free up a unit for another deserving individual or family who needs that temporary assistance.
These applications need to be submitted online and people can apply through next Wednesday. All right, Aurora leaders will talk about the city's urban camping ban during a city council meeting today. This ordinance went into effect over the weekend, but the policies within it need to be finalized before they can be enforced. City leaders are looking into a possible day resource center and what will happen to people's belongings after a camp is cleaned up. Governor Jared Polis says the state will look into how new technology could help solve the JonBenet Ramsey murder case. This is in response to a petition asking the state to use genetic genealogy to find JonBenet's murderer. This petition also calls for the case to be transferred from Boulder police. Ramsey's father supports the petition. I spoke with former DA Mitch Morrissey. He investigated JonBenet's case, has a company that has solved cases using genetic genealogy technology, and he says it's more complicated in the Ramsey case because the DNA is mixed and the technology is still new.
The other thing that they have to deal with is the fact that they don't have a lot of DNA. And this requires more DNA than the normal type of testing that's been done for years in crime labs.
He says that technology is still advancing, but JonBenet was murdered in Boulder in 1996. Her killer has never been found. 15 more wild horses died over the weekend at a facility in Canyon City. That brings the total number of deaths to more than 100 in the span of a week. The Bureau of Land Management says the horses are dying from equine flu. This outbreak was first reported last Monday. BLM says it is reviewing operations at the Canyon City location to try to prevent more cases. You will soon not be able to get plastic bags at grocery stores in Fort Collins. The city's plastic bag ban went into effect yesterday. Large grocery stores will no longer provide plastic bags, and they will charge you 10 cents for every paper bag. The only exception is if you qualify for income assistance.
You'll only pay it a couple times, then realize, hey, maybe I should get some reusable bags and bring them in.
I'm sure the plastic bags are pretty bad for our environment, so I'm all for it. And I don't mind paying an extra dime per bag if I forget my reusable ones.
Good attitude. A paper bag fee goes into effect across Colorado next year. A ban on plastic bags and styrofoam in most restaurants and stores starts in 2024. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Colorado has been connecting children with mentors to help them achieve their potential for more than 100 years. The relationships between the bigs and littles can grow into some very special friendships. Denver 7's Micah Smith introduces us to one big brother who is this week's Denver 7 Everyday Hero.
Michael White and Jerai Riley say it's hard not to have fun when they're together.
I know how to be a friend. We just hang out, we're friends, and we have fun.
And on this night, the fun is a golf buddies lesson at Denver's City Park Golf Course.
Personally, me, I feel like I'm the young Tiger Woods. Technically.
Michael and Jerai's friendship started when someone at Big Brothers Big Sisters paired them together, somehow knowing they were meant for each other.
I think because we both had like things in common and we're like both funny, so yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
For 6 years, even during the pandemic, they have connected at least twice a month, often sharing incredible adventures.
I did not like skiing. I fell down the mountain.
Me too. But I liked it though.
But he liked it.
Michael says he signed up for Big Brothers Big Sisters because he thought he could make a difference mentoring a young person. It's a decision he's never regretted.
You know what? It's taught me a lot about being consistent, being a good friend, what it takes. And, you know, it's really about having fun and connecting.
He was not only Jerai's biggest cheerleader and fan, he was our Big Brother Big Sisters biggest cheerleader and fan.
Alicia Cook is the CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Colorado. She says Michael is the epitome of the kind of mentor kids who sign up for the Big Brothers Big Sisters program need.
Every child needs at least one person in their life who is not in their family, who is absolutely crazy about them.
And being that person, that mentor who goes the extra mile, isn't hard.
Best advice I ever got was, do you know how to be a friend? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, that's all you need to do.
On behalf of American Financing in Denver 7, we would like to make you, Michael White, a Denver 7 Everyday Hero.
Yeah!
I love that. All right, Big Brothers Big Sisters has a great need for more mentors right now, especially mentors of color. You can learn more about how to help and nominate a hero in your community on thedenverchannel.com. The quest for the Stanley Cup starts tomorrow at Ball Arena. The Avs host their opening round playoff series at the Nashville Predators. The Avs finished the regular season as the best team in franchise history with the most ever points in a season, most wins, and most home wins. So they're super fun. But they did lose 6 of the final 7 games of the regular season. The Avs have also lost in the second round for 3 years in a row. That is not something the team is thinking about. All right, here's part of the Avs playoff schedule. Game 1 is at 7:30 tomorrow night. Game 2 is Thursday, also at 7:30. The series then heads to Nashville with Game 3 at 2:30 Saturday afternoon. Start planning your trip to Rocky Mountain National Park. Still ahead when you can start making reservations to visit the park. Plus, the cost of diesel fuel is hitting a new high, and those higher prices could put more strain on our wallets.